Just a few short weeks left till the end of the year. No idea if we're lucky enough to have 700 patrons as of writing this quite some time ago, but if not, feel free to pledge and help us get there. The Buster Call has officially started. Also though, I'm still very much loving these proper long zoomed out shots showing us everything near enough. For me, this really sold what a Buster Call is. Just an outright massive attack on absolutely everything within the target range, and then potentially outside targets as well. Love how Oda gave reasoning for how the whirlpools were created and how they've now gone away due to the gates being fully opened. That's so insanely clever. Both of them yelling out his real name for some unknown reason, I really liked that. Like, enough of the masquerade, we know it's you, and they're showing genuine concern for him too. Showing that as it's a real nice example of mixing together static animation, that being the Tower of Lore, and active animation, that being the bridge. Probably the single best entrance by Usopp in the entire anime to date. Not only because he's okay, but I loved the frantic call again from Sanji and him saying "you called." Loved it. Might sound weird because it's an anime, but she's so beautiful in a non-physical way when she's like this. Just so happy and calm now. It felt so genuine how she said that. And that is getting a win for exactly the same reason as the last. She's just so happy right now, and it truly shows. God, how I missed seeing her brilliant ability at work. It's yet another new move by our boy Frankie. How they're clearly not trying to take them out, but instead just hold them down for now. Frankie might be becoming one of my favourites on the crew, although let's be fair, they're all equally awesome really. But yeah, with how many weapons he packs and who he is, I like him. Ow! Feels like a bit of a callback there to when he was Mr. 2. Oh my god, is it me? Or is that not the sound of Ed 209 when he tries to follow Robocop down the stairs and can't do it? Oh yeah, I totally forgot to give Robin her win for still being in the anime, and the blue sky reminded me here. How cool is it to do a bird's eye view of the Tower of Lore and show all the rooms like that? And by the by, still so much credit to these three helping out the crew the entire time and still doing so now. So I rarely ever do this, but this quick flashback of good times brought a tear to my eye. It was the first time she had been as happy as she was back then, and yeah, what a family they were. Nami now catching up to them, as I said in the previous videos, thanks to the smart use of the arrows pointing them all in the right direction. One of the most awesome demonstrations of his power in Gear 2, where he's able to slightly hit him even when he's using Shave in his fastest form. And you best believe that that one is being shown as well. He's just too fast for him right now. Also nice to see is that as tired as Luffy is, he's also getting real tired. Dropping one here because I just wanted to say, I think officially, if Luffy was fresh and fed, he'd win this battle hands down. He's got the edge in all ways, but sadly, he's not fresh. Oh no! I was afraid of this happening! Man, Oda has kept me on the edge like few things do in this arc. The reveal of what he's actually doing to get into Gear 2, and what I like about it the most is that it's grounded in realism. Context! Lucci said you're shortening your own life doing that, and Luffy's reply was brilliant, I think, caring more about his nakama in the here and now than his lifespan. What a guy! I really hate this guy! At the same time, I really love Oda for coming up with amazing tweaks to make the arc even better than it already was. Ironically, the arrival of the ships ended up helping out Robin and Frankie because now his men are running away and they can get a quick breather. This is really where the Damage Animation crew do such amazing work every damn time. What? Is that right? What a tasty little nugget if so. Robin is not a target of the busticle? That may well be another new track, but regardless it fits the bill perfectly for the utter desperation being wrought upon this island. Getting to see all of the top dogs of the Navy who have turned up here. Unexpectedly nice little intro to kickstart the episode showing us where they are, both groups currently located. Showing this because someone did a crowd shot right at the start that likely took ages to make and it was used for half a second. Goodness me! This view of how giant these ships are! Oh, I thought the last view was really good. Imagine how I felt when I saw this one. This moron thinking he's the reason they aren't attacking there, when really it's Robin, which I'm still so curious about too. The very natural reaction coming from Robin when faced with exactly what destroyed everyone she loved as a child and her very home itself. Well now, look at her swinging back into the anime to score it one more win, you sassy so-and-so. Such a classic Usopp kind of move. This was equally classic, but also involved an equally hilarious Angry Zoro moment too. I can't stop loving those recently. Not running whilst lying to Usopp about how many ribs the human body has on the spot. In this moment, even though it's an anime, I legit felt so sorry for them to have done all that running, gotten so close to Luffy, only to have to turn back around. I did not have Luffy runs away from their battle here for a moment on my One Piece bingo card. Well, fair enough, he was giving them another location to fight in where neither would drown, but I'm still leaving the last swim because I liked the joke and it was still shocking. Lucci thinking he had got into Luffy's head, talking about how Robin and the others have been taken out by the Navy or the water, and his surprise when Luffy continued to lock into their fight. Assuming this continues into the future, it feels like a nice perk to give Usopp that he can either hear very well or maybe just sense something wrong. The fact that Luffy is keeping up with him back in his normal form now. Animators being able to pull out beautiful animation like this during a weekly airing anime is incredible to me. Likely helped by the recent filler episodes, but still. Luffy's new reasoning is wonderful to me. Pure character growth. He's literally never cared so much, likely in his life, than he currently does for his crew. Been winning this for ages, but how there's not always tons of talking between these fight scenes, especially as it remains true to Lucci's style I've been talking about for ages now. What I loved here is that it actually seemed as though Luffy quickly figured out his counter here. He didn't just do it, he had a quick think and put it into action. The battle keeps swinging between me thinking Luffy will win to Lucci, especially with brand new attacks being rolled out like this one now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm dropping one for how shocked he was to see Luffy back on his feet already through the smoke. He's using the third gear! Absolutely brilliant. In fact, Iron Body may be my new favourite thing because when someone smashes through it, it's so sick. But this is the greatest yet. Plus the damage afterwards. So good. Don't even care, back-to-back max wins for the reveal that his fist and arm got that huge. I was so shocked for a moment, I had to compose my thoughts. And then one more single win for an amazing end to the episode with that view too. Hearing this made me smile. He was hit so hard that he's on the verge of being KO'd. The realism excellently on display there, where of course they don't all immediately know who he is. They don't even work in the same area and so approach him with guns raised. Zoro proving himself to be on another level, although hearing it far later than Usopp, it should be noted, in that he himself is now getting a vibe from up ahead. I love Nami so much. Guys, do something about this water. She thinks so much of their abilities, she's like, stop the water! Avoiding a potential plot hole here by Sanji giving a very logical reason why they'd use something stronger than iron or stone this far underwater. I'm guessing they're talking about Lucci here, given he was the last person of strength transporting Robin for a long time, makes me worried how much faith they have in him. Hate to say it, but I have to. Lucci looking badass. I must say, seeing a bunch of people from another kingdom around the world fighting pirates whilst wearing gear unlike anything we've seen before was especially awesome. Would have been so easy to merely say, oh, it was a kingdom, show some people fighting, then crack on. Instead we got soldiers dressed differently, as stated, and even a throne room with a king. Another thing Oda does, and then the animators take over here, is aging people properly, with Lucci very much looking like and being treated here, first of all, as a child. Even though the world government are like the good guys here, moments like this make you understand that they're very much in control of everywhere for good or ill. Tons and tons of crowd shots of these pirates. Really impressive how many they did as well. Wow, That is everything you need to know about the world government and how it works. He takes out all of the hostages there. Also have another here for showing us some background on him as a character too. It helps to fuel my hatred, and it's just a good thing to do in general, I think.
悪に屈服し、王国を危機に陥れた。そんな兵士たちは生きている資格がない。
Another couple of wins. Firstly, it's not just saying what happened, as the Marine dude was doing, but instead hopping back into the past to actually show it as well. Secondly, it was Lucci giving at least some reason for his actions, rather than skipping past it, or giving something truly weak like, I wanted to take away your hostages, or whatever. Might sound weird, but showing his clothing having burned off? Would be weird if the cannonballs hit him, burned, and yet he's still in his suit. Is it just me, or did they really go the extra mile when animating this? Because that looked amazing to me. What a grand idea to go so high up for it. This is so good. It's like Attack on Titan up in here. Showing him transform so smoothly. I ain't ever gonna stop winning Luffy's giant attacks. Gravity being taken into account here clearly, as his giant leg stays giant and his body is thus anchored against it and thus swings down. By the way, take another for this ship being tough. It's taken 2 huge hits from Luffy, and now this one from Lucci, and it's badly damaged, but let's be real, any other ship would have sunk. Damn, the Navy take these orders seriously? Because Luffy is now on that boat and it's nearly wrecked, they go on fire on their own people. I am not going to directly show it, but he just shot one of his own guys for questioning his order. What a stupidly great ending! It's the grand return of tiny baby Luffy! Tiny baby Luffy! Beautiful thing here, really, to focus on him for a moment and how he's feeling. The old lady's words of saying how much he loves Frankie and does he want to come along to Eni's lobby. That's equally beautiful because he's got absolutely zero interest in listening to him try and make an argument for giving up Robin to them, even for his own charges to be dropped. Legend. His legend status continues to grow as he selflessly throws himself in the path of Robin to save her from an attack. Also have another for this weapon finally properly coming into play. As I keep saying, the best keeps getting better. It was way closer to landing than I thought it'd be. One of those amazing times where Frankie is extremely, deadly serious in that moment, and you can feel the difference. For clarity, he asked, will Luffy and the others come here? And that's her reply, and of course her commitment and faith. Scores an easy win. Fairly long flashback sequence, but it was still good to see the moment that impacted his life the most to this point, where he tried and sadly failed to stop the seed train with Tom on it. He makes such a good point here. They're literally not even thinking of a worst case scenario. They're just acting and doing their best together for Robin and each other. Dropping 2 wins there because not only was it a great moment in its own right, but it was Frankie getting his long sought after revenge for what happened to Tom. Giving thanks to the crew for allowing him to do it too, which may well lead into becoming a powerful reason for him joining the crew down the line.
生きてここを出るためならこの命を投げ打っても構わねえ。
Hearing him say this, he starts to mean even more to me. I once died long ago. If I can give my life to ensure they get out of here safely, I'm happy to do it. What a guy, man.
護送船を明け渡せ。あいつらの逃げ道は俺が作る。
Frankie not just kicking ass because now he's motivated, but instead he's actively got a plan in mind and is now working towards it. A plan which will see them all get away.
私もやるわ。もう大丈夫。
Yes! That's my incredible girl! After a vision of her friend stood on the roof, lined up ready to fight for her, she overcomes her burden, for now at least, and is ready to fight for them too. Just had to give another there for the reflection in her eyes of him frozen so long ago.
もう一人じゃないから。
Just prior, she said there's nothing to be afraid of anymore, and obviously it goes without saying, just had to give it a win. Not only is it an impactful moment, literally and figuratively, as they burst through to an area near the exit finally, but also it looked amazing in the process. It's naturally a shock, but it's also a logical one. Of course, they'd largely surround the main point of the island to fire on it from the best angles. At the same time though, take one for another great showcasing of the size of the ships. The giants look almost normal compared to them. Uda is the best at placing realism where you might not expect to see it, such as here. They don't all rush aboard, some of them may be pirates in disguise, so they're checking IDs. Also, yet another double single win is that, of course, you'd have to do this. You can't constantly get a busticle and just destroy everything. You'd soon be left with naval people. What a superb build-up there, seriously. You could feel how lost our friends felt. Giant cannons pointed right at them, can't go back, can't go forwards, and then the order to fire coming. Wow. Seems so unfair that he has such control over his ability compared to poor Luffy. But then Luffy does have more power. But anyway, quick win and back to it. Adore Luffy so much when he does stuff like that. No idea if that is the same woman who voices him, but if it is, that's amazing how she somehow pulled off a tiny Luffy voice. Amazing, really. I don't even know what happened, but you're damn sure scoring a win for him suddenly going down like this out of nowhere. Even better, boy. I'd have still dugged it, even if someone quickly out. But it's really so much better that it's from the fight now hurting him. Let's go! Luffy is so badass like this! It feels like such an Usopp thing to do, to be like, I've lived a good life. Wait! No, I don't want it to be over yet. Stop that! Yeah, what is going on? I tell you, no matter what it is, this episode earns an extra award here for great plot twists. First with Lucci, and now this. Okay, first of all, it really is a good twist, but also how Sanji here seems to be likening it to events spread across the age of sailors at sea in trouble being saved, like old fables and such. I have no idea how she's doing this, but I'm going to give it a win for making me burst out laughing regardless. Hey look, it's one of those cool moments where the intro is done as unique as the endings. Come off it, man. Has Frankie legit ever looked so cool up to this point? I don't think so. Robin being all battered and blood running down her face, but still holding a happy and genuine smile makes my heart soar. Back-to-back wins, again. Firstly, I love how they decided to add some animation there to the whole reveal. But also them having reached the boat already is a huge shock and lovely surprise. It's so strange, One Piece music can make any scene feel more amazing to me, even them just recovering from nearly having drowned, and yet I hear that tune and I'm in utter awe of it. Now that I 100% agree with Sanji on. I couldn't even show the other scenes of her barely clothed. Been a minute or two since we got some lore given everything happening here, so I did appreciate this lore drop from her. Sanji and his very Sanji-like reaction to seeing Robin again. At first I thought he may be a touch mad, but nope! Also been a while since I've been able to say, oh my goodness, Chopper is the cutest thing to ever exist in the history of everything! Oh, such an adorable reunion! Been waiting so long for this. It feels so good you have no idea. Well, you have some idea. Who cares, we're all happy. Zoro effortlessly carries himself as the ultimate badass to my mind. They're all safe now, so he's heading back into it like the absolute legend that he is. In that same vein, even though we all know Zoro is awesome and he does deserve praise, how about Usopp here? So injured and yet time and again stands up. Just prior, Usopp said we should go help Luffy, and whilst that's great and backs up the last win, I think Zoro being realistic here is mainly worth the win, and he is right. To me, just an oddly beautiful moment for them as a crew. It was perfection. Some on the ship, Sanji making his way up there too, and their decision to remain and wait for Luffy no matter what. For context, Sanji got up there and said, "Frankie, your guys," looking at the flames, and this was his unexpected reply, but just prior you could see his concern. It's tough to see. I mean, I'm guessing they'll be okay. This is Oda we're talking about, but still, didn't like to see it. But oddly, Paulie also quickly picked up a communication style, so let's go. Nami being awesome in her own way by fully prepping the ship so they can leave as soon as he turns up. Whoever made the choice to cut the music there at his reaction is a legend, and if it's true, which I still highly doubt, it'd be one of the most sad moments in One Piece. After some lengthy flashbacks showing everyone who aided them through this arc, Nami had this rather profound thing to say, perhaps also stemming from, was it alright for them to lose their lives for us? By the way, small win, but I love the design decision to have this symbol be a huge block that runs through the arch, instead of sitting on the outside. Says so much about Frankie, and it's all good, that instead of falling into despair, here he instead focuses on seeing the mission through. Is it just me, or is that not another new track again? I swear I freak every time I hear a new one now. Brilliant ending yet again. He's going second gear one more time to take him down. Oh, I can't wait. Now that is a great impact shot where you could almost feel it. And speaking of great impact shots, they give us one more right away afterwards. I gotta add as well, it's straight up wonderful, no better word I can think of, to see Luffy actually causing serious damage now in return. He's come so far in a somewhat short period of time. nice touch actually showing the fist impact shots on his stomach like that. Really wouldn't be an episode of One Piece without a huge final fight including moments like this, where he pulls something new and weird out of the bag to help him score the win. Imagine being them outside and seeing damage like that being caused in the distance, and yet you can't help, either physically or even just getting to them without issue. Bit long to show, but worth a win all the same, as Chopper saying, it always seems as though Luffy knows who he has to fight right from the get-go, and Nami said he has animal instincts. I've been saying this for ages now, and it's maybe a first for a villain, but everyone not knowing exactly what is happening all the time, such as Lucci not knowing why they're firing on them there. So many frames though! Obviously credit to Nami for prepping for a fight right away, but you can't ignore the badassery that is Zoro's life as he does and says that at the start. In a world where most studios do CGI crowds, it always makes me appreciate seeing things like this from back in the day. 3 back-to-back wins. 1 felt real nice for Usopp to be spurring him even after everything that happened. 2, in general, it was great for Luffy to see all of his friends are there and that they are safe and supporting him. And lastly, 3, I've been saying this for ages, but how anime 20 years ago figured out how to do voices at a distance, and yet Bethesda hasn't in modern games blows my mind. Still, love my heavily modded Skyrim though. Absolutely brilliant. Massive hats off to them for this moment. It's interesting really seeing how they work like this, with low-ranked, weaker soldiers being told to head back, whilst the elites get to work here. That's so easily getting max wins. Between them screaming up top ready for battle in their hundreds, and that brilliant music playing, it's hyping me up to no end. It's so good! Okay, this win is for all of them, but also Zoro, man, what a guy! Bless his little cotton socks! All 3 of them getting off to an amazing start here with their own final battle. What a move from Frankie, and beautifully done by the animators too, especially showing him being swung from a distance there. Such an Usopp way to do battle, but also let's give him credit for still throwing himself into combat time and again here. Zoro just continues to show the stuff he is made of is tougher than almost everyone else, and I keep being more and more impressed by him too.
Nice, Zoro-kun!
Even though I'm pleased to see Usopp getting better at fighting, it's only realistic that he's helped along still very much by Zoro, who is becoming stronger than anyone bar Luffy really. And you can't praise just Usopp like I have been, without also mentioning the increasing bravery and strength in general of Nami. I always liked her, you know that, but it's even more so now. Robin! And of course, for likely the final time this arc, seeing Robin coming out of her shell has been something else really. The perfect follow-up went to the last one. She's now, in her own mind, fully part of the crew. No ruse, no worrying about taking off suddenly or being betrayed. She's one of them. Quick montage of them all fighting. Is it just me, or is it obvious to anyone else that this fight has been given extra frames to make it look even better than it normally would have? It's another hurdle in the way of his victory, but it never stops it from being painful to witness when he's badly injured like here. Credit to the voice actress too for really selling how tired and hurt he is here, really on his last legs. Oh no, it's another win, but purely because I didn't see it coming. There's such a clear connection between them. Even whilst they're fighting, he felt something was wrong and ran back to where he can see Luffy, bless him. 2 wins, as you may have guessed. First, it's this rotating shot. Second, it's Usopp removing the mask for the first time. Like, we legit haven't seen his face in ages to this point. And of course, one more for that ending. Now off to do Delicious in Dungeons first quarter, and then rushing back to see what happens next and score more greatness. See you soon.
Darth Weirdo, Fidgy, Maliao, Mushwin, Nick Wyndham, The Elementator Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Nozomi, Orkeeper, Odabotanisi, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Brendan Greer, Brian Bayard, Cameron, Christopher Terrasa, Commander Cyrus, David Freriks, Devicool, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Guru, James DeFoyer, Yor Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfroik, Miura Night Sky, Mr.Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Robert Jackson, Ruby Rose, Sataki Ari, Zions 44, Sean, Starkip, Tiger Lily Warrior, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Anador, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante Sol, Dante's Face, Doug Globe Bloody Soul, Donald Newborn, Dragon Defender, Dragon Boy 1, Drake's Daughter, Iso, Francie, FuriousMoe, Garrett Vermeesh, Henrik Jessen, Host Losritter, Israel Caldera, Joe Crims, Jason Davies, John, Jaffa 6263, Kai Wolfspring, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevin 102, Knuckle Duster, Kody Niemeier, Kai 158, Carl Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Luis Minito, Marvin, Mason Stelfer, Matthew Blansett, Michael Lewis, Mihran Ardjian, Modavirum, Mr. Firecool, Nathaniel Gigremosa, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, Nuvagown 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, OliveWharf, Onyx Calif, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Halloran, Porgy, That's a Fish, Q-Flash, Chris Harris, Rimuru, Rodies, Roll Tide Wes, Ryan DeViri, Sadaholic, Sakomi Arorim, Sarcastic Truth, Shadow Cleanser, Snowy, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Thrasher 340, Tomo Sandy, Vernon Hogan, Wacky Normal, Will Sass, Willyman.